Today on my table, I have two medium format cameras. The old and reliable Bronica ETR shoots 120 medium format film, and modern, well, relatively modern, digital Fuji GFX 50R. The reason I have them both on the table at the same time, because I got myself an adapter ring that allows me to use ETR lenses on GFX. Now that's a great option because Bronica takes exposures of 60 by 45 millimeters. So these lenses have to cover 60 by 45, while GFX sensor is 44 millimeters on the longer side. So we know for a fact that these lenses will cover the whole sensor of the Fuji camera. The reason this is a great option as well is that there's a huge variety of these lenses on the market. The Bronica ETR is one of the most popular, was one of the most popular medium format cameras. They produced lots and lots of cameras and tons of lenses. I know at least 3 generations of these lenses. The latest one that I have here, Mark PE, they are known for being the sharpest and the best contrast, but there's other generations, the older ones. If you don't care about the clinical sharpness, you shouldn't bother. They're quite cheap because there's a huge variety of them on the market. You can find tons of them on eBay. The most expensive one, I think, is 60 millimeter. That's really hard to find from the last generation. And I think I got it for about 360 bucks. But the rest of them are even cheaper than that. And there's a big variety of focal lengths as well. So this is 75. Here I have 40 millimeter, 150 millimeters, and even 250 millimeters, which is a pretty good range. If all of this was Fuji, there probably would be a big hole in my bank account. But of course, they're not autofocus, they're manual focus lenses, but it's vintage lenses, right? We all know what we're doing here. So the downside, of course, is they are quite a bit heavy, all metal, well, great build construction, but all metal, the glass is quite heavy. But GFX is not a compact camera, so I don't think it's a significant downside for it, because you're not getting GFX as a compact option. So the reason I'm making this video is that you cannot just take the lens from Bronica, put it in an adapter on GFX. The thing is that these lenses have a lift shutter in them, meaning that the aperture blades work as a shutter. So they are always open, wide open, while you are framing, so that you get the most light. And they can show you that you cannot see the aperture blades inside of the lens because it's wide open. And when you're ready to take a shot, when you press the button, when you press the release button, the aperture blades will close to the set aperture and will stay open for as long as your configuration setting for the shutter is, and then will close completely. So they work as a shutter. But when we are shooting on GFX, on a digital camera, we don't want the aperture to be wide open, and because there's no communication between digital camera and this vintage lens. So we need to change the settings on the lens so that when we rotate the aperture ring, the aperture blades close and open according to the settings, and they stay open and stay closed the whole time. So I couldn't find a good video that explains this whole process in details. I found the video from the producer of the adapter, the photodiodes. They explain how to change the settings so that you can put in GFX, but they don't mention particular quirks, how to do some manipulations here. And also they don't do the reverse. Because I have both cameras, Bronica camera is working, I should film. I want to be able to put this lens on GFX, take it from GFX and put it back on Bronica and shoot film again. So I need to do these actions in reverse. And I wasn't sure, is it easy? Like, is it gonna work? Am I gonna break the lens? Like, I don't know. So I wanted to record the video as a memo for myself and maybe for some small group of people that are also interested in that, so that I don't forget how to do it and not to break the lens. So let's do that. First, let's make sure that everything works fine. Let's see, I have a setting of f11. I think that should just shoot. Let's see if we can see the aperture blades. Yeah, you can see it now, it's closed. Right, so it works properly, and if I advance the film, it opens again and I'm ready to shoot again. So let's take off the lens. So we need to make sure that these pins are aligned with the green buttons. On all of my lenses that I'm using on Bronica, they are already, so I didn't have to change that. So a couple of things we need to do. First, we need to disable the automatic mode for the shutter release. So it's done with this switch here with the pin. And now it's in setting it that you can see the letter A, which means automatic. So we need to switch it into a different position. So the way to do that, that's where actually I couldn't see online and I struggled a little bit myself, is that in order to move that slider, you cannot move it right now, it's locked. You need to pull up the pin. This is metal pin. So in order to do that, using nails, I can lift it up. You see it sticks out now. Right, so I lifted it up. Now I can move it so that you cannot see the letter A, and now you can see the letter T. I think it stands for time. Now we disable the lift shutter, and we can see that the aperture is still wide open even though the setting is f11. So the last step, you need to find on the connection ring, you need to find the small pin, the small button here. Like there it is. So let me try to show it in different ways. You see it sticks out just a little bit. This one. This is it. So you need to press it. It's very easy to press. It's very light. I need to press and hold it. And while I'm holding it, I'm going to rotate this pin, which is closer to the button, in the direction opposite from the green dot. And now we can see that the aperture has closed. And when I rotate the aperture ring, the aperture blades change with the setting. Now we're ready to put it on GFX. We're ready to shoot with the vintage Bronica ETR lens and GFX. So now if we want to take it off of GFX and put it back on Bronica, we need to do the same things in reverse. So in reverse, we need to find this tiny button on the mount again, this one, press it, and rotate the pin back to align with the green dot. And to reverse that first step, we need to switch on the automatic lift shutter. So we need to turn this back so that we can see the letter A and close the metal pin so that it doesn't stick out anymore. You see, now it's closed and it locks this switch. You cannot move it anymore. That should be enough. Let's see. The aperture blades are wide open, even though we have f5.6 here. So let's put it back on Bronica and make sure that it works. That was 1 second exposure. There you go. So now I will remember how to take these vintage lenses from the film camera, put it on GFX using the adapter, and everything works fine, and then I can take lenses back from GFX, put it back on Bronica, and shoot film. Thank you for watching. Have a great shooting time. I hope you try out some vintage lenses and save some money on GFX. Thanks for watching. Bye.